Coming off a 1-1 draw yesterday in Portsmouth, England, we come to you now from Walsall, England, as we hit match number 2 of the 3 that the Lady Cougars will play on this 8-day tour of England as they get set to take on the Aston Villa Football Club. The ladies from Birmingham, England, just down the road. Here in Walsall, we're at Sheffield Academy as we get set for match number 2 for CSU. The Lady Cougars in the navy uniforms here in this one, and it'll be Aston Villa wearing the maroon and the light blue with the white shorts as they get set to have first possession. They'll work right to left as you look at it as we get underway here in game number 2. Stephen Williams here with you on Cougar Sports TV alongside Lady Cougar assistant coach Mary Manson, the acting head coach last night as the Lady Cougars picked up the 1-1 draw against the Portsmouth Football Club. The Lady Cougars starting like this. Maylin Parsons gets the start in goal. It's Larice Davis, Sauer, and Heidemann along the back defensive line that's getting tested right away as the ladies from Aston Villa work the ball near the offensive box. It's Rolling, Belay, and Jacque in the midfield, and then Miller, Hellett, and Chelsea Pearson, who scored the only CSU goal, that play up as the forwards for CSU in the starting lineup. A bit of a different look for the 11 tonight for CSU in the starting lineup. Ball into the box for the Villa ladies. Kicked out of there by Casey Davis. For Aston Villa, they'll go with Chloe Jones, Emma Follis, and Olivia Ferguson at the forward spots. Alicia Robinson, who will get into a familiar name around Columbus State circles, along with Katie Moran and Maddie Cusick. In the midfield, Erin Vaughn, Haley Crackle, Maisie Baker, and Alicia Endow in the back line. And it's Natalie Courtney in the goal for the ladies of Aston Villa. That went over the end line, and that'll belong to Maylin Parsons on a goal kick. Kyle Stewart acting as the head coach today, one of the assistant coaches for CSU. And Mary, that was something you got to do yesterday. What's going through your mind early at kick, your first time getting to be a head coach?
Stephen, well, it was a nerve-wracking experience, but oh so worth it. Coach Shea does a really good job building his coaching staff, growing them as coaches in the collegiate level, and getting to say, check that off my list, getting to say that I was acting head coach against a professional team in England was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
These ladies of Aston Villa getting set to start their season in the Super League 2 here in the professional realm, in the English Professional League, as they drive it towards that end line. That one will be deflected off of Casey Davis on the end and over. So it'll go for a corner coming up from the right side. So far, Aston Villa, the one that's controlled possession here in the early stages. Over in the corner, Chloe Jones, a 25-year-old that's played around the professional leagues in England, getting set to swing one in with the left foot. Striking it towards the center, got all the way through everybody, and it goes off the backside and it goes into a goal kick. Set pieces, something that Columbus State has struggled with at times, and we talked about that in yesterday's ball game with head coach Jay Entlick. A mindset in his mind that this team lacks a little bit as far as going to get the ball. That time you saw it go right through everybody as Parsons will spray this one near the sideline in front of the Lady Cougar bench. Blakely Heidemann, the last one to touch it. A few onlookers here at Sheffield Academy in Walsall. Of course, yesterday they had the surprise visit from the Heidemann family that made the trip over here. Blakely's parents getting an opportunity to surprise their daughter prior to kickoff, as CSU has it for one of the first few times. Here early on its side of the offensive field, this is Larice up from the back line. It'll come up for a throw. You watched last night's and coached in it. How different was the English style versus what you see in America?
Very fast. That's two words that I can say for any team we play across the pond. It's very fast. They are very technically sound. Their touch is almost perfect compared to ours. We're a little more athletic than them, I believe, but technically sound. These girls are a lot older than us for sure. Our average age is about 19, and theirs is 25. So they have age on us and experience on the pitch, but I think our athletic ability and our chemistry on the field will hopefully bring us up to the top.
Aston Villa, a well-known name in English soccer, as CSU was called for the offsides, closing in on its 18. But a very familiar name across English soccer. They will get started with their Super League 2 coming up next Wednesday. I believe they said they have Chelsea for the opening game of theirs. It is a bunch, though, that ranges in age. They have some on their roster as young as 17. They have others that go as high as 28 or 29 years old. So there are some older players that have played double-digit years of professional football and club football here in England. But they have quite a few that aren't with their team today. They have some that are playing with the under-19 English international team as they're competing in the Euro Championships right now. They have a couple that have been injured, and they have a couple bodies that they're saving as this one got into the box for Robinson and had it knocked away from her. So far you look at it, though, for this Aston Villa bunch, and they're doing a really good job of possessing the ball, and they've been strong in the passing department as well. Pearson got around the defender and on the move on the right side.
Go on, Chelsea.
Fighting there with the defender, Vaughn. Cleared to the back of the box and then kicked away. Now the counter, which we watched last night. Portsmouth so good at the counter attack. And now the first shot of this one fired on will go over the crossbar as Follis strung one just high. Parsons gave a go at it, but it's over the crossbar. That was something Portsmouth was really good at last night, was they hit quite a few shots from deep outside the box, but very good and difficult ones on net. This is the second of three that the Lady Cougars will play on this English tour, as that one goes out over the line for a goal kick coming up. They will have a couple of days to tour around London on Thursday and Friday. Then they will head to see a English Premier League game with Fulham and Norwich on Saturday, and then on Sunday they'll finish off this English tour with their final game as they'll take on the Lionesses of Millwall. That'll be the third and last game. So the second of the three, as this one's played back to Courtney, the goalkeeper. Ball got over the head of Larice on a hop. They play on turf here, which allows it to be a little bit quicker. Driving down the right side, it'll go out for a corner again. As the Villa ladies will head to the far side, it'll be Jones again that'll walk over there to that corner. And again, it'll set up one of those precarious positions for the Lady Cougars where they've got to work off a set piece. Jones again with the left foot, drives one towards the center. Touched by Sauer. Robinson, though, keeps it in play. Pearson doing a nice job coming over from her forward spot to keep that one alive, but it goes over the sideline for a throw. Working in the center, Belay coming over from her midfield spot to play that one. Held it on the deflection, but again, it's Villa doing a very nice job with spacing and passing and controlling possession. Again, they'll hit one towards the net. It's Follis again on the try. So far, though, what do you see, Mary, as far as Aston Villa goes as far as possessing it?
They're moving off the ball very, very well. And, excuse me, their touches are almost perfect, like I said earlier. We're doing a good job containing them. We can't let them have a shot from distance because you can see they're able to hit those. So we need to have higher pressure quicker. We know Alicia Robinson from playing against her this fall. Great player, so we just got to shut her down. And I feel like if we shut her down, maybe one of the outside, number 9, Jones, yes. If we shut her down, I feel like we'll take away most of their possession for them.
CSU going with a different 11 than they did most of the fall, and a different 11 than you saw yesterday in the Portsmouth game. The substitution rules a little bit different here across the pond than they are back in the United States in the NCAA division. We saw last night they had a rule with no re-entering of subs. Back in college play, they have it to where you can't re-enter in the first half, but you get to re-enter once after coming off in half number 2. How difficult did that make it on you last night trying to do the substitutions?
Very difficult. You know, with these girls, we take every game seriously. Coaching staff does, along with the girls do. But I want to make sure these girls get to experience England, get to play against these European teams, professional teams. I want them to love it like we do, and I want them to have the experience. So yesterday, not being able to put girls back on the field was hard because I think some girls deserve more playing time, but. We handled it well and came out with a tie, and everybody, played hard and played very well for the minutes that they were in.
So CSU choosing to change up its starting lineup, and again, the thought process is now you got to save maybe some of those top people so that when you sub off, you're able to sub in maybe some of your betters, and therefore you don't see some of the usual regulars that'll get the starts here in this one for CSU. Chelsea Pearson working on the far side with it towards the corner. It'll be a deep throw coming up for the Lady Cougars, who again have yet to put one towards the net in the shot category. But here's an opportunity for them in the box. Hellett fires one that's deflected. In down there on the deflection defensively, and Jones fouled from behind that time by Casey Davis. As they did yesterday, quickly on the move after a stoppage, rolled all the way towards the line. Sauer did a nice job of keeping that one from ending up as a corner, sprayed it over the sideline, and a throw coming up. That was something you saw, though, a lot yesterday, Mary, was anytime the whistle blew and it was a possession, whether it's a throw or a free kick, the English sides, they work very, very quick with it.
Oh, very quickly. They wanted to catch us off guard. I feel like we should have done a better job with that. They actually scored their goal off of a throw-in, a lack of focus from our girls. But I feel like today their mindset's a little better, so they won't fall asleep on those throw-ins.
Is that something you all saw 4 years ago when you were here playing these sides? Are they quick like that as always?
Very quick. The men's side usually slower because they want to, boom a ball into the box and get some heads on it to see if they can create a chance. But the girls, they like the ball at their feet. They don't like to chase balls over here with Aston Villa. They like them at their feet, and they want to run at us. They don't like to go over the top with us.
That one last touch by the Lady Cougars. Be a goal kick coming up from Natalie Courtney, who's in goal for the English side here in this Wednesday evening. The sun starting to set off to our right in the distance. Another chilly evening here across the pond. Not quite as cold, it doesn't feel like, as it was in Portsmouth yesterday, but we were right on the water yesterday over at the University of Portsmouth as Larice called for the foul that time against Ferguson on the far side of the field. And again, Villa will work quickly with it off the whistle. Although, based on what everyone tells you, if you come over here and you don't get rain, you'll put up with a little bit of cold. Only had to deal with rain on one of the first 3 full days that the Lady Cougars have been here in England. This is Hellett that works back with it, trying to leave it forward for Pearson. Had an opening for a moment. It was deflected by Endow, still loose. Pearson trying to run it down, and this one will go over the corner, and it will be a corner kick coming up for CSU.
Hopefully we can capitalize on this.
Take us through what you expect to see here with them trying to put this one from the side. What's the mentality for Ashley Miller, who goes over to take it?
Give us a good ball. Give us a quality ball so we can find Hellett's head and Chelsea's head, Shelby, Courtney. All of our best headers are in the box right now, so I'm really excited to see what's about to happen.
This is Ashley Miller that's set to hit one in from the near side. Swung into the middle. It does get a head on it. It's kicked out of there by the back line. Crackle, the defender who was there on the back line to kick that one away. So executed well on the first corner.
That was cleared off the line, so right where it's supposed to be, but that defender was perfect positioning.
So CSU able to get a first shot on goal. No save for the goalie, but a team save there. Still working with possession, a little bit better controlling in here for the Lady Cougars than the first couple minutes of this one. Yesterday, it was the Lady Cougars that struck first about midway through the first half. Chelsea Pearson scoring a fantastic goal on a sliding attempt off a pass from Corcione. CSU with the takeaway, and then the offsides flag put up after Rolling picked up the turnover. It was Miller that was too far out in front to give it back. Went into the halftime break yesterday at 1, and then it seemed like really Portsmouth kind of kicked things into high gear in that second half and turned into a different team and came out and tied that one up.
It did. They came out underestimating us, I feel like, in the first half, and then when we went up on them, they came out second half a completely different team. And we came out hard too, but they had more intensity than we did, and they let the goal in, but we held them after that. So.
Another turnover, another offside is going to be the result of it. Larice was able to take the ball away, but Chelsea Pearson, the one who was a little bit too far out in front that time. Aston Villa mentioning prior to the game that they had just played somebody from stateside. As Pearson on the run now, working here against Vaughn, one-on-one, able to make Vaughn miss outside the 18, drops it off to the left. And then Hellett tackled hard. A couple of players hit the ground. Hellett and Crackle both go down, but they'll play on as both players a little slow on that end. Working the other way, though, this is Cusick. Drops it off for Ferguson. Ferguson on the slide and a save on the ground made by Malin Parsons. Now they'll stop play, and they'll come back and they'll check on the player down. I believe that's Haley Crackle. That's down over there on the right side of the field. The training staff taking a look at her, who seems to be in obvious pain. You look at it, though, you come over here, you got a chance to do it as a player, and now you get a chance to do it as a coach. It's a different style of play, something that you're not going to see but 1 week out of every 4 years. How difficult is it to change the way that you play, or do you change the way that you play to adapt to the way they go?
My game plan yesterday was play how we play. We come out playing like we play. They have to adjust to us. If we needed to adjust, we made changes accordingly. But I feel like the way we played was just fine. But over here, it's definitely different. The girls they got themselves pumped up. You know, I did my best to get them pumped up. But at the end of the day, it's the girls that have the heart to get themselves pumped up before these games. And, you know, you're in England. I've never been more pumped playing in England 4 years ago, and now I was super pumped yesterday coaching in England, and I just feel like these girls had the same mentality yesterday, and they do this, you know, this afternoon. So I hope that it plays out. And I hope this girl is okay. She seems to be in serious pain.
Yeah, they're checking on one of the legs of Crackle, who is down defensively. And Aston Villa, not one with a ton of bodies with it here in Walsall this evening. A lot of people on the roster, but as we mentioned, they have several that are playing overseas in another country in the Euro Championships. They have some that are just not with them as they're saving them for next week's start to the Super League. And so there were only, I believe, 3 subs listed on the roster that we were given prior to the game. Joe Hunt, the first-team head coach for Aston Villa, giving some instructions to his girls over on the sideline. He'll have to put a new one out there on the turf. They play on this turf surface over here. That's something that we don't see back in any of the Southeast region teams. How different does it change the gameplay or the game speed maybe?
Very fast. The girls, the word that I stressed yesterday was texture. Every ball that was played over the top or to our players' feet has to be textured. If you know, on grass, it's got more resistance and you can play harder soccer balls. But for the turf, you push it and it flies. So definitely texture of the ball. These girls, the Aston Villa, are used to playing on turf, so they have a slight advantage. And we were able to get on Harris County High School's turf one day, and that helped us. But I feel like these girls definitely have an advantage. But we're adapting well, and we're handling it. Just definitely have to keep those passes textured.
And this turf here today is a lot seems more matted down than yesterday's was. Yesterday seemed to be very, very fresh turf that wasn't all the way laid down yet, so that may have helped slow it up a little bit. But
Yep.
today, this stuff's matted down and very, very fast.
Very, very fast.
So they're going to help Crackle off over the sideline. They put one of those braces or support casts on that left leg, so hopefully she's okay, as they'll check on her over there on the sideline and get her a look. Leanne Bryant will be the one that comes on in place there in the back line of that starting lineup. So Bryant will step into the back line. It looks like it'll be CSU's possession in the goal for Malin Parsons as we get back to play here early in the first half of this second game here on Cougar Sports TV for the Lady Cougars. The 1-1 draw with Portsmouth on Tuesday night. Millwall coming up on Sunday as Jackie Hellett now on the run. Working just at the outside of the box on the right. Drops it off for Pearson, who will spray one into the center. Deflected up into the air and still alive, but played away and cleared to safety by Villa. Working it forward down to that right side, Ferguson, who played on the English under-17 international team at one time. Drops it off. Davis stings it away. A shot put on towards the left side of the net. Continued to bend left off the foot of Cusick. And it will go out of bounds that time, but a ball that got loose in the box and a wide open look from the right side. Both sides with a shot on goal. Malin Parsons making a save earlier on the ground near the right corner of the net. And then a save made on a header by a defender for Aston Villa off a shot from a corner kick of CSU. Jackway leading it forward. Nobody for CSU, though, able to get to it before Endow does, who will drop it back to the goalie and let Courtney play it. One of the things we saw from Portsmouth yesterday they were very good at was the counterattack. They're so fast in transition and the turnover that you make one bad pass and they get off on the run.
They'll capitalize on you, that's for sure. These girls are taught if the opponent makes a bad pass, you capitalize and punish them for it. That's for sure.
This one put into the box. Heidemann trying to play with it. Fallis the one offensively working against her right there towards the end line. Heidemann good defensively one-on-one there. Finally gets some help. Able to get the ball out of the box as they'll reset it back up top. Deflected by Belay. Pushed forward. And this one, though, on the turf has no chance of slowing down, way too far out in front.
We seem to be playing it over the top a lot and having our workhorse Chelsea and Jackie Hellett running for them, but I feel like that might not be working. So we definitely need to find our feet more and see if we can get more bodies forward as quick as they are getting theirs forward, and we'll definitely have an interesting game on our hands.
And this is something that they're not really used to doing. The Lady Cougars aren't playing on the back-to-back days. You know, you don't do that in conference play. You don't do that really in tournament play. You play every other day or every 2 or 3 days. So it's a fatigue factor maybe that sets in after some of these played big minutes last night as Parsons snatches that one out of the air.
I hope their legs can handle it. I hope their legs can handle it. We did a cool down yesterday after the game, got some sleep in them last night, and we're definitely gonna. I'm glad the subbing we were allowed to sub as much as we can today because we're gonna definitely need a lot of bodies and a lot of legs today.
And on top of that, the girls, of course, doing some sightseeing while they're here in England. So spent some time today walking around over at Warwick Castle. That's where they spent the afternoon, a couple hours there, sightseeing.
Oh, it was so cool. Such a good experience. Definitely brightened up these girls' days, and they've never seen anything like it. So it definitely was a lot of fun for the girls. They really enjoyed themselves, and we could catch up an hour of sleep on our way to the game from the bus ride, or excuse me, the coach ride they call it over here, the coach ride. And see if they can rejuvenate themselves, get some food in them. But they seem to enjoy themselves, taking pictures, and this castle was a lot of fun for the girls.
Of course, they get set to see Kensington Palace tomorrow. All of them are super excited about the opportunity to do that as Hellett tries to track that one down right in front of the Villa bench. Unable to do so, though, and it goes out for a throw. But Kensington Palace and other spots in London on the list tomorrow. Then they'll be back in London to see more on Friday as CSU able to take one away on a turnover. Pearson will hit one with the left foot, but a little out wide, but you get an opportunity like that. It's always good to try to just put one at the net.
Yep, I feel like this goalkeeper is going to, I feel like she's going to make a mistake with her feet soon, and we need to capitalize on it. We need to challenge her more. I feel like that's going to be where we're going to capitalize today.
Chelsea Pearson had the goal last night for CSU as this one runs up the back of Ferguson on the right side. Pearson had the goal in the first half, also had one that hit the crossbar, and then had another one that she tried to hit up over the goalie that was just barely tipped off the fingertips. And you look at it, and she probably very close to having 3 goals in last night's game. Jackway will play this one to the right for Hellett. Drop it off for Heidemann, who tried to, as you said, throw it over the top that time, trying to spray it out forward. It was deflected, though, off the legs of Follis.
See, their numbers, they're getting forward a lot more than we are. Our holding mids and our attacking mid, we need to be forward with the ball when the ball is being played, and I feel like we're really struggling with that right now.
On the move now, Cusick, the midfielder, an under-19 international player for the English team. And her second year at Villa. Off to the side now. That one got over the head of Jones in the box, trying to head one into the net. Cleared outside the 18, kept alive by Bryant. Finally, they'll clear it away where Pearson will have a chance to touch it to a teammate. So far, still a feeling out process for these two. Larice up from her backline spot. Tries to hit one for Hellett into the box, a little too far out in front. Possession-wise, though, it's been better and continues to get better for CSU than it did starting out this one. No resistance here as Vaughn dribbles it down the entire length of the left side. Works it back towards the center now. And going to be called for a foul, I believe, Belay. Called for the foul as Vaughn was knocked over onto the turf. And so here's a dangerous spot. About 30 yards, 28 yards or so out, a little bit off center to the left. And again, in one of those spots where, especially in the fall, this Lady Cougar bunch struggled with off these set pieces. Jackway and Belay will build a 2-person wall. Vaughn will be the one that hits it. It's towards the net, it's high, and it's over the bar. That one went over the bar and off the field of play, so they'll have to launch one in from the Villa bench. There's not much area around the perimeter of this field here. There's about 5 paces or so on the side with the benches. No benches, though. The ladies sitting on the ground.
Very nice facility, though.
It is.
Very nice facility.
Very new here at Sheffield Academy. Very accommodating folks that are going to pick up dinner for us later. Able to get the English version of Gatorade for us. So taking care of the Lady Cougars here, and it's not even their team that's playing. So very accommodating folks, as we found everyone to be so far here across the pond. CSU defending now, but in the offensive zone. So one hit all the way across the field, changing the direction and changing the flow of things. Baker on the right, or rather on the left side with it. Played into the center. Belay coming to step in and take it away, but it got away from her. As we mentioned, Astonville getting set for its season coming up. The referee getting in the way there and giving an assist for CSU, helping them get possession back. This will be their first year, though, playing in the Women's Super League 2. Was speaking with the head coach, Joe Hunt, prior to the game and saying the competition level and nothing really changes for them. All that's going to change is the season in which they play. where they're used to playing winter soccer, which I can't imagine over here because it's cold and we're closing in on late spring. But now they'll play more in a summer-type league, which I would imagine is a little more pleasant. This temperature here, is it good for soccer, or is it still a little on the chilly side?
Honestly, 43, I learned this the other day by one of the players telling me 43 degrees is where the temperature that the body best performs at. So apparently these girls love the cold weather over here. Our Columbus natives, it's hotter than in Hades, and so over there in Columbus, and we're definitely not used to this cold. We're used to running in heat, and so running in cold definitely hard on the lungs and hard to get used to in a matter of hours.
It is chilly, but as we mentioned, again, you'll trade the cold for the dryness, and the sun has been out today. Clouds mingling in every once in a while, but right now the sun's setting off and we'll be playing under the lights before it's all said and done. CSU getting set for its first subs to come in as Villa works in on the left side now. This is Ferguson being defended by Heidemann, and Heidemann again, who played well last night. A strong play, and now Hellett able to get around the defender. Hellett forward, it gets through everybody. Pearson with it in the box with the right foot, it's blocked. Courtney able to step in and with the foot block that one, but a fantastic chance.
Great chance by Chelsea. Great ball by Jackie Hellett. Courtney was getting in there for the rebound, and Chelsea just got to tuck that away to the side, but great chance by Chelsea and Hellett combining out there.
A corner kick coming up. They'll play it, though, to the short side for Larice. Drop it back to Ashley Miller in the corner. It'll give her a chance to hit it into the middle. It's loose there. Jackway got a foot on it. Cleared away, though, over to the far side of the field. Flicked on with the head by Jackway again that time. Again, you see them pretty good with the head inside the box. You mentioned 4 or 5 of them that are strong in that department.
I did. Definitely Hellett, Chelsea, Jackway, and Shelby are definitely our stronger headers of the ball. And here's a counterattack right here.
Rolling, trying to play it forward there. Miller the only one, but a little bit of a late read for her to go get to it.
Got to get numbers forward, Stephen. Got to get numbers forward.
CSU, though, seeming to get acclimated with this Villa style here over the last few minutes and have played very, very strongly of late. 0-0 where we stand midway through this first half. Last night the scoring was low, and so far tonight the scoring low as well. Heidemann again strong defensively, coming up to take that one off the foot of Ferguson. Working backward, though, being pressured by Ferguson, dribbling it back and now turning it over, and it's Ferguson that has it. Off left of the box, it's hit off the foot of Heidemann, and that'll result in a corner. So a tough play there. Ferguson kept the pressure on. Forced Blakely to continue to drive backward with it. And eventually it was played off of her for a corner kick coming up, as it'll be Alicia Robinson, the reigning Peach Belt Conference Player of the Year, which is why she's a familiar name in Columbus State soccer circles. Played the last couple of years at Clayton State University. Familiar foe for the Lady Cougars as this one's headed away, and Ashley Miller will have it and be able to clear it out. But Robinson helped lead Clayton State to a share of the Peach Belt Conference regular season title with this Columbus State team, getting the best of CSU in the regular season, but Columbus State got the final laugh as they eliminated Clayton State from the NCAA tournament. So you can imagine that's a little bit of a motivating factor for her personally, getting to see Columbus State again.
That's her senior year, and I would believe she took that one very, very personally. So she's definitely playing well today and showing us she deserves to be on this Aston Villa team, professional team. She's a great player. She needs to be playing over here. She's too good. No wasted talent. No wasted talent there, that's for sure.
Jackie Hellett comes off, as does Ashley Miller and Claire Belay. Taylor Marks will slot in the midfield in place of Belay, and it'll be the 3 forwards that usually get the go. That'll be out there in the front for CSU as Nicole Corcione in there on the right side, Kelsey Pelletier out on the left side of the forwards, and Chelsea Pearson working in the center for them. So back to the usual forwards of 3 up top. And the midfield about the same. This is pretty much the lineup that started yesterday, minus Becca Calder, who played at one of the back positions. This one put towards the net. Malin Parsons will come out and make the easy catch on it. I have a chance to punt this one away. And now we'll play it back. So far, you like what you see, the way they're going with it?
I think so. The subs were good subs, smart subs, and we're putting more pressure on that goalkeeper that I feel like we're going to get past her sooner or later. We're getting our numbers forward. Our Blakely, our outside back, Blakely Heidemann is coming forward. Andy's getting forward. Definitely liking these numbers getting forward for sure.
CSU working in a 0-0 ball game here against Aston Villa, playing here at Sheffield Academy in Walsall, England. Second of the 3 matches that they've played, and Jackie Hellett with us up here now. All right, take us through the early stages of this one. What did you think of the way that you all have started?
We started pretty well. I think we underestimated how well their possession was. They came out pretty fast, and we were kind of on our heels, but I think we picked it up, towards the middle of the game, and we've had our opportunities, and so have they. And I think it's a pretty good game so far.
Where are they providing challenges for you all?
I think that their midfielders are getting the ball a lot more than we are, and playing out wide, catching us, on their right flank. Annie will pinch in, and they'll send them a through ball, good switch point attack. So I think the switching is what's getting us.
You seem quite out of breath here in this one. This is the second game for you in 2 days. What does that feel like?
Club soccer. No, it's not bad. We prepared pretty well for this experience, and the weather really helps us out. We've been playing in like 80-degree heat, so this is nice. It's not too bad outside.
You like this temperature out here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not as cold as last night was, and not as windy, so I'm much for it. And the field is shorter than last night as well, and I like that as well.
Here's an opportunity for Villa as they work it down the right side. Parsons on the slide will come and take that one off the foot of Fallis. You look at it now offensively as they try to attack, or whether as you all try to attack Aston Villa, where are spots maybe that they will give you an opening or a hole that you all can try to take advantage of?
Their defense is pushing up pretty high, so I think the chip ball over the top is what's getting us opportunities. We have Chelsea, who's pretty fast, and I think she's faster than their defense, so we're trying to find her, on the outside and switching it over the top.
All right, Jackie, well, we'll let you walk on back down there, catch your breath a little bit, and hopefully see you back in the second half down there.
All righty, sounds good. Thank you.
Jackie Hellett with us after she started the ball game, subbing out now, so we will hopefully have more of that coming for you over the course of the game. Head coach Jay Entlick, who's working as an assistant down there on the sideline right now for the Lady Cougars, helping us out, sending some players up here, and letting you hear from them in real time here on Cougar Sports TV. This one moved forward by Corcione and hit over the sideline by Endow. So CSU will have the throw coming up from over on the far sideline. The Reese will do it. You heard her say, though, the weather, she does like it.
Fair enough. Maybe she's one of those exceptions that it's 43 degrees out here.
It's not so fun for you and I right now.
No, standing up here with this wind, can't feel my fingers. But these girls running around, they should be just fine. And I agree with Hellett when she said that finding Chelsea up top, I can understand their defense staying high, chipping it over the top, but maybe not every time. So mixing up a little bit, finding our feet and chipping it over the top would be more effective. But we are doing a very good job getting forward, and we are breaking them down a lot more than we did at the beginning of the game.
Good defensive stop that time by Casey Davis, turning the back on it and taking the deflection, keeping it alive for CSU. The chances have been there for both sides early, but neither side has been able to put one into the back of the net just yet. Corcione with it, fresh off the side. Went down rather awkwardly at that one after Endow was there to defend her. Nicole a little slow, getting back up to her feet. Trying to jog that one off over there, able to stay on though. Heidemann stepping in front of that pass, takes it from the near sideline. The touch a little hard, and that one just about coming up here to us. I wasn't prepared for that one. You're the goalie.
I couldn't have saved you. I'm too far away.
You're the goalie. You're the one we got to rely on.
That was coming pretty quick. All this expensive camera equipment. Sorry. It was going down with me.
Endow on the header there. Able to be kept in play by Ferguson on the sideline, working right in front of the Aston Villa bench. CSU, another good defensive play, and again, it was Blakely Heidemann that was on it. As we get another illegal throw call. The same thing that they called last night.
We got to talk about this, Steven.
Saying that they've got to throw it up and not down.
Yes. They're very picky on throw-ins over here. You have to go, obviously, behind your head all the way, feet down. But they do not like it when you throw it straight down into the ground. They want you to throw it out to a player, and they're very, very picky about it. I'm pretty sure we got called on it like 6 times last night, and that's our first one of the afternoon.
It was one of those that kept drawing the ire of Jay Entlick, who was on the broadcast last night.
Good. I thought it would too. I don't know if you could have heard me on the other side of the field, but I definitely was challenging on my side as well.
The touch off of Heidemann's body there will wind up in the net underneath us. This field set up for the 6-a-side leagues that they have playing across the field. So they have 3 of those set up here, and the little grids drawn for them. Jackway in the center, trying to leave it for Pelletier. Endow able to get in the way of that and play it back to the goalie. This one started with Aston Villa well in control right off the opening kick. Very much in control of total possession. They were passing it well, they were spacing it well, and CSU seemed to be on its heels. Since then, though, they've made the adjustment. They've seen how they're being played against. And it's been a very even match since that point. Both sides getting opportunities. Both goalies making some nice saves and some shots that have missed the net. Working here in the first half, Stephen Williams with you on Cougar Sports TV alongside Mary Manson, the Lady Cougar assistant coach. Parsons comes over to keep that one in play on a through ball going for the net. Backline, though, has handled things pretty well so far. Blakely Heidemann has really elevated her play the last couple of days.
She's definitely being tested today, and yesterday she was definitely tested. So I was very, very proud of her yesterday when I was acting as head coach, and today she's playing very well. And this number 7, I believe it's Olivia Ferguson. She's definitely giving her a run for her money.
So CSU getting it off the deflection right there in front of its own bench. Taylor Marks moving it forward, and again the offsides flag put up. That's 4 or 5 times tonight so far. CSU's been just maybe a foot or 2 out in front, and it'll stop play for them.
You didn't have the 10 times that happened last night either. It happened a lot. I don't think the referees like us over here. They definitely didn't help us last night. Or they're doing just wonderful today, but we'll see.
Is there a reason for the offsides? Are they a step too quick, or the pass is a step too late? What is it, do you see?
I feel like it's the run is too early. They're definitely the ball is just, we need to be able to get it off our foot a second sooner, and we're right there. So hold the run 1 more second, get the ball off your foot earlier 1 more second. So
Pearson in that foot race here with Baker trying to get to it, and Chelsea with great speed unable to keep that one in play. And again, you saw the effect of the turf there as that one rolled very, very quickly, scooted across this turf. This turf here, just like the kind that they have stateside, the synthetic grass style with the rubber pellets underneath it. Very, very similar to everything that you see turf-wise nowadays over in the United States, although CSU doesn't really play anyone that plays on turf. Nobody inside the Peach Belt, nobody inside the Southeast region. It's more of a northern thing of where the weather isn't quite as pleasant, as Corcione can't keep that one inbounds over on the far side of the field.
once again, turf. Any other day at John Walden Soccer Complex, that ball's staying in.
We mentioned the fatigue maybe playing a factor in the second of 2 days for CSU, but Aston Villa doesn't have a whole lot of subs, so the fatigue can kick in for them as well, especially if they're down a player who's still sitting over there on that sideline wearing the brace on her leg. So that means they only have 2 coming off the bench, so it's not as if they may not be fatigued when this full 90 minutes is done as well. 0-0, still no scoreboard here, so that means no clock for us. So just kind of guess and estimate where we're at this point. Pelletier trying to play it through to Pearson. Had it deflected away. Didn't quite hit it crisp to split the defenders. Coming to the near side below us. Ferguson with it.
Back on the clock, Steven, I'm pretty sure we have roughly about 5 minutes. 5 minutes left.
Pearson taken down as the double team was there. Chelsea able to hop back up and put some pressure on it there. And now Pelletier has it one-on-one, working with Endow in the center. Drops it off for Pearson, who is, you guessed it, offsides.
Offsides.
And with that, we didn't have 5 minutes left.
We
We
had
hit
5
halftime
seconds.
just like that. So they will head to the halftime break, 0-0. Quickly summarize what you think of half number 1 so far and how it went.
Definitely, they had possession at the beginning. We picked it up towards the end. I feel like we created more 1v1 chances with their defense and pretty evenly matched so far. Their possession is excellent, no question about it. But once again, our athleticism and our defense is holding us strong. And I'm going to go with our athleticism and our, our finishing abilities. They have to be cleaner, and we got to be careful of those offsides because those refs are super, super picky about it. But other than that, I think that we can make adjustments accordingly. The subs stepped on, the level, rose, and it was a good transition into the second half, a good positive note into the second half. And obviously not getting scored on, not scoring, yes, but not getting scored on is not digging yourself out of a hole is huge for these girls.
So that's how we'll take it to the halftime break. 0-0 after 45 minutes here in Walsall, England. CSU and Aston Villa tied at half.
Today on Inside the Professor's Study, I talk with Dr. Cindy Tickner. Cindy's a West Coast native. She grew up in Modesto, California, and came to Columbus via Fort Benning in the 1990s. Tell me what one of your favorite math concepts would be. When it's this day in class, you get really excited about? Ooh, that's a good question. They're all exciting. How could this be? Basically, we would work with compound interest. And understanding if you put a certain amount of principal in bank account, and the 10% interest that you got, that compounded over.
Well, it would. Anxiety gets into concentration. Yeah. But there are lots of ways. In fact, one of the ways that athletes often do this thing called a concentration grid. And you actually imagine...
there's a new term for us.
Concentration grid. Well,
yeah.
Great band, if you ever see concentration grid.
Here we go.
Very,
I know that group, yes.
Very,
All right, back to it.
Really good.
What is that?
Concentration grid is a, imagine a 10 by 10 grid, 100 squares. And you go through each individual square in your mind, starting with 0, getting all the way to 99. 0, 1, 2, 3. And as you allow yourself, what you're actually doing is you are moving yourself into a state where it's often achieved in meditation. It's a meditative state. It's an act of being present, of allowing you to be centered and balanced, because often what gets in the way of concentration is you are not in the now.
Hagen frame to serve. Olabubu for Gonzalez. Blocked.
Seven on the shot clock. Peterson driving. Peterson pull up jump.
But Elon Musk is a very interesting character, and he's playing a very important role in the future of America's space exploration program.
Getting set for the second half here from Walsall, England, across the pond here on Cougar Sports TV. Lady Cougar Soccer brought to you here from England on this English tour for the CSU Lady Soccer team, or as it's referred to over here, the Lady Football team. The Lady Cougars and Aston Villa, the matchup here in the second of the 3 games that they're going to play over this 8-day tour. 0-0 where it stands as we get set to get rolling here in the second half. CSU in the all-navy uniforms. And we'll talk about those uniforms a little bit later on and the people that made those possible over here on this trip. Aston Villa wearing the maroon and light blue jerseys with the white shorts here on their training ground here at the Sheffield Community Academy in Walsall, just outside of Birmingham, where Aston Villa is based. Going to spend some time speaking with some players here over the course of this second 45 minutes, try to bring you a little bit of a different perspective than we have normally available to you in a normal broadcast. Shea Wilby, who's in to start this second half for CSU, plays that one towards the box, and then it's sprayed away by the goalkeeper, Courtney. Shea Wilby out there to start this half for CSU. Becca Calder also getting the start. Other than that, they're as they were closing out that first half. CSU working with it defensively. Up with us now, though, from Aston Villa, Sherry McHugh. And Sherry, we're glad that you're up here with us. Tell us a little bit about what it's like having an American side come over here and the opportunity. Maybe you don't get to play tonight, but for your club to play.
Yeah, it's brilliant. We had another American side over with us the other week. Great experience, bring different challenges for the team to play against. So, yeah, should be good.
We see the differences when we look at the English sides compared to what American soccer looks like. What do you see as the differences between when the American sides come over here?
I think the Americans always look to me much fitter than the English side. So, yeah, look a lot much fitter, yeah.
And you work in a game like this where you don't have a lot of subs. Does that make it difficult for maybe this group when there's only 12, 13 girls that can play?
Yeah, I think tiredness starts to set in, especially in the second half. So we'll see how we get on.
That one banged off the post that time by CSU off the right side, just nearly putting the first one on. All right, look at the first half. What did you think of the way that your all club played?
I don't think we were up to much in the first half. I think Joe had a few words at half time and just told us where we needed to tidy up. But yeah, hopefully the second half we can play a little bit better than we did.
What are some of those areas that you see that need to get a little bit better?
I think just keeping the ball, just the basics like movement off the ball. Oh, is that a penalty?
Right at the outside of the 18. I think they're going to say it's going to come just outside of the box. So it'll be a scoring chance for Columbus State here, just outside the 18. Kelsey Pelletier, the one that was taken down, as she tries to stretch out a little bit. Already watched one player go down for Aston Villa. And this one is Shelby Rowling gets set to try to fire one at the net. The four-person wall right in the center of the box in front of Rowling. This ball literally just outside of that 18-yard line. Rowling had it blocked. Vaughn able to step in and take that one off the backside and keep it away. So before we went to that, you were saying possession and what other spots?
Yeah, that was it mainly, just keeping the ball. I think usually we're
One-on-one here for Pearson with the goalkeeper Courtney, and Chelsea Pearson into the left side of the net has scored both of the goals for the Columbus State side in this 3-game tour that they are on. Scored the only goal for them last night, and Pearson able to get the first one here, and that time it just seemed like the Villa side thought that there was an offsides call coming up, and Pearson was able to get through.
Yeah, caught off guard, I think, there again. I think we need to switch on a little bit more at the minute. We'll see how the rest of the game goes.
You all are getting ready for your Super League games starting up next Wednesday. Give us kind of an outlook of what you all look like for the upcoming season.
Yeah, we've had a few pre-season games, tough games for against Super League 1 sides. We haven't pulled bad results off against them at all. We're all grafting hard in training, so hopefully this season will lead to success.
Well, Sherry, we were glad you got a chance to spend some few minutes up here. We thank you for that, and we'll let you get back on down to your team.
Thank you.
Sherry McHugh, one of the members of this Aston Villa Football Club, as we try to give you a little bit different perspective, a little different side of things here on this Cougar Sports TV broadcast from England. Chelsea Pearson making this a 1-0 ball game as they try to add on now. Pearson on the receiving end of that one, but it was stepped away. Mary, you got a chance to see that play happen. It just seemed like the Villa side kind of fell asleep a little bit, and it was just one-on-one for Chelsea.
Yeah, they were hoping that offsides flag was on.
And here goes Pearson again into the center for Corsione, and nearly an own goal put in by the defender that time, as the ball didn't get all the way over to Nicole on the left side of the net. It was deflected out on the slide by Vaughn, and a corner kick coming up. But the offense in this second half, very, very strong at the moment for CSU. Taylor Marks goes to the near side corner to swing this one in. They started to look at it short, but Villa was there to recover for it. The kick goes over the top of everybody and will roll to the back side of the box. Rolling, trying to earn another corner, and that's what's going to happen, as they're going to say the goalkeeper Courtney couldn't keep that one in play before it went over the line, and therefore it'll come up for a corner kick again from the other side for CSU. Are you seeing adjustments from the Lady Cougars in the second half that's resulting in this?
The intensity and getting numbers forward is definitely improved. We've shot our attacking mid very high to put more pressure on their defense, catch them off guard. That defense definitely wanted that offsides flag to go up, and unfortunately it was definitely in our favor.
Corsione hopping in, trying to get that one. It was deflected out, and another corner coming up. That one off of a Villa defender. So another ball coming in from the Villa sideline will head to that corner where Taylor Marks will have a chance to hit her third here in the last few minutes. Columbus State with the 1-0 lead. They held a 1-0 lead in last night's game against Portsmouth and gave up a second half goal. This one inside the box, deflected away by Endow. Hit backward as Pelletier tries to track it down outside the box. Being played well that time defensively, and now we've got a couple of players that collided. Pearson there along with the goalkeeper Courtney. Looked like maybe banged legs, banged knees or something in there, and it was Courtney that definitely caught the worst end of that one as she's a little slow hopping up. Our referee, who is a rather large man out there in the center, an intimidating presence.
Let's just say his head almost touches the crossbar.
Looks over at the sideline to the training staff for Aston Villa, gives them a thumbs up and says, hold off, don't come out here. So Natalie Courtney seems to be just fine over there on the bench. Carly Davies out there defensively as a sub here to start this second half for Aston Villa. So Joe Hunt able to work some of his few reserves that he does have in. Davies rather working as a forward, not as a defender. Aston Villa trying to tie this match up now. CSU on the board first. It took a while to get to that point, but the Lady Cougars have the lead, trying to pick up the first victory of this tour. They felt like they had a chance at one last night, but ended up taking the draw. Pelletier unable to control it on the touch, and then commits the foul against Robinson from behind in the center of the field, and Robinson now the one that's a little slow to get up. It's always difficult for these English sides, especially CSU. They're in the spring season. They're not in season, but these English sides, they're either, as Portsmouth was, in the middle of their playoffs, or you've got this Aston Villa club that's getting set for the regular season. So a game like this is difficult because you want to be competitive and you want to play well, but you can't afford to have anybody hurt going into the season that matters.
Nope, for sure. And I really hope that she's not hurt. And and
then equalized on the other side. The pass on the part of Follis finds the foot of Beth Merrick, a substitute that's come on here in the second half. Buries it into the left side, and we're tied at 1. So it didn't take long for the two sides to each get on the board now. Merrick, a 18-year-old on this Aston Villa roster, played for the under-17 international team. Knots us up at 1 apiece now. And now it's just a matter of game on. Both sides have awoken, and now it's may the best team win.
who can fight harder longer? Both of us have seen the back of the net, so let's just see who can capitalize again.
Mandy Janowitz came on for CSU on the substitution there as Chelsea Pearson is going to get a chance to rest. Pearson had played the entire duration of this one at the forward spot so far. Tough to do when you run as much as she does, especially in a game like this one where they've thrown the ball out in front of her so many times. So Janowitz in at a forward spot along with Corcione and Pelletier in the middle. Going to the left, it goes over the head of Calder, and to that far side, and it's Merrick with it into the center, headed away by Davis, kept alive in the middle, and then Shelby rolling out to clear it out of the box. 1-1, both teams on the board early in this second half. The second of the three friendlies that CSU will play, all of which we'll have for you here on Cougar Sports TV. Glad to have the opportunity to do this. It's a once in every 4-year opportunity for the program, a once in a lifetime opportunity for these girls, but also for everybody that gets to come on this trip, I guess except for you, who gets to do it twice.
I snuck my way in there. Don't worry about it.
CSU will keep possession right at midfield as Shelby rolling with the long throw. Gets through the entire back line. Janowitz trying to track it down, and they're going to say couldn't keep it before it went over the line. So a goal kick coming up for Courtney, who after going down a few minutes ago seems to be up and moving around just fine. Not sure there's another goalkeeper to sub in here for Aston Villa. The one that they had listed on the roster, Courtney, wasn't the one that's listed online for them. Actually is listed as the assistant manager of this club. The one that's listed not with the team tonight, as they have a number of players, as we've talked about, that are either not in uniform or not with the club for a variety of reasons. Follis able to dribble around Heidemann, who's trying to track her down. Heidemann able to stop the initial attack. Still working now. Follis looking for somewhere to cross it to into the box. Has it right there on the sideline, and it's kicked away from behind. So the deep throw coming up. And again, wasting no time as they quickly get it to that point. The offsides flag put up as that time Cusick was well out in front. Spacing that time for one of the few times in this one, not very good on the Villa part. A bunch of people crowded into that corner. Sun has fully set now. Still a blue sky in the air, but the moon visible above us. The lights are on. Rolling, fighting for it there near midfield. Working it forward. The offsides flag up as Janowitz well out in front that time. The lighting situation, though, a little bit different here in England than it is stateside. And you don't have the lights that project out towards the center of the field. Does it make it difficult? You played goalie. Does it make it difficult if the center of the field isn't quite as well lit?
I'm more worried about the 18-yard box, but definitely the lights towards the edges are helpful for a goalkeeper. But in the middle of the field, you don't have your contacts in, you're not going to be able to see that ball unless it's pearly white, that's for sure.
This one, Fallis dribbling into the center. The pass deflected outside the box by Sauer. Some weird spin on it. Allowed Heidemann to get to it as it was overrun. It's not quite dark in the sky just yet, so no problems to see at the moment. But last night, especially when it got dark, the ball that got up above the lights all of a sudden became very, very difficult to see. Fallis right there on that line that helps set up the grid for one of the 3 fields that work side to side here at Sheffield Academy. Now working in the opposite direction. Vaughn trying to change direction of the defense, working off to the left, but Becca Calder able to get ahead on it and drop it off out of bounds on the left side. (1-1) where we stand. A goal by each side in the second half, but Villa threatening again here. Parsons coming out, will scoop that one up. A nice job of shielding it off. Taylor Marks helping defensively there to shield that one away. Bryant giving it a go on the far side of the field towards that box. Played forward as they work in the midfield. It's Chelsea Pearson that's up here with us now, and you were able to get goal number 1 in this one. Kind of walk us through what happened in that play.
Well, the ball popped through midfield, and our midfielders did a great job of holding on to it and controlling it, and then playing a ball out wide, which I was able to get on the end of, and really just slowed it down a little bit, waited for the keeper to make a move, and then made a decision and went with it, and thankfully it found its way in the back of the net.
One of the things that we've talked about and people have told us so far about the English sides is that these defensive back lines, they play really high and give you an opportunity to get out and sprint. It wears you down, I'm sure, but how different is that for you, and how does it change up the style of play?
Well, 2 parts to that. The first is, as you would have seen in the first half, I got caught off sides a number of times, and it's that they step up so quickly that unless you're really got your head on the swivel, you don't see it, and then by the time the ball's played, they've already trapped you. But the other part to that is if you're good at holding your runs and maintaining that onside position, you do have the opportunity, like you were saying, to get in behind if the ball is timed right and the run's timed right. So, if you're paying attention, it's great. If you're not, then they're really going to get you.
How difficult is it, this is the first chance that you get to come over here and play like this. How difficult is it in a matter of a week's span to completely change the mindset of how you play back home?
It's really difficult, but as Jay talks all the time, championship teams, the best teams are always good at adapting and changing their style of play to win ball games, and that's something that we try to implement in the fall, and of course in the spring as well, and it's great to have the opportunity to do it here, abroad, and under such awesome circumstances. It's really just great prep for our fall season, to be honest.
Parsons able to come out and scoop that one up as they were trying to send one into the box. The offensive player on the receiving end, but a little too far out in front of her. Offsides flag again come up there. Pelletier the one a little bit, and you saw them step up right there.
Yep, right there.
As you look at it, you're one that has to do a lot of the sprinting to go after the balls up top. The second time you've played in 2 days, you all don't do that when you play in the collegiate season. So what's the fitness level like for you at the moment?
Well, I definitely am kind of at that mindset. It's like, well, it would be nice to be a little bit fitter right now. But it's great. It's great prep for us. It is really hard. I think the most we ever play is 2 games in 3 days, and so you do have that recovery day in the middle. And to be honest, I don't think I've played 2 games in a row like this since I was probably, 15 years old, something like that. Oh, my gosh.
That one close. Shea will be there trying to help on the deflection, but Aston Villa able to keep it out. And this cold weather, does it help you or does it hurt?
Yeah, we were just talking about on the sideline, actually. It's nice. The air feels really clear and crisp. It's easy to breathe, but, after you make so many 75-yard sprints in a row, it doesn't matter how nice the air is. It's still difficult.
All right, well, Chelsea, we appreciate you walking up here. We'll let you walk on back down there and try to stay warm.
All right, thanks, Steven.
1-1 where we stand. Chelsea able to put the first goal into the net for CSU in this one. Aston Villa able to get it right back, though, as Beth Merrick tied the match up at 1, and that's where we stand here midway through this second half. CSU getting several good opportunities so far, and here comes another one, except for the fact that that offsides flag comes up again. And it's just that mindset. It's difficult because, as Chelsea said, they're doing the stepping up, and you're generally not looking for that to happen because it doesn't happen in the United States.
No, they're very, very smart over here. We're just used to run and play us the ball at the right time, but these girls can recognize that, and their center backs have enough communication and enough skill to get all 4 of them up at one time to catch us offsides, and those refs sure do love those flags, so hopefully we can keep them down for a little longer.
It's just a little bit of the craftiness of the English sides. Here
I
goes
believe so.
Janowitz trying to retrieve this one out of the air. Able to get it off the touch. Has it. Trying to center it up. There's no one there, though, except for Aston Villa in the way. Shelby Rolling just outside the 18 will fire one that's blocked by Vaughn. Fires another with the left, and it's high and wide off to the right. But offensively, it's been so much better, it seems like, in the second half. They've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity.
That is true. We capitalized early with Chelsea, and our momentum was there. We just have to keep it up for the remainder of the half, and we let them come back in it, but we can't let them get another one. We have to find a way to hit our net instead, and I feel like it's going to come for us. We just have to keep communicating and making sure we're staying with our marks and making sure we're winning every ball in the air, which we're doing a great job of so far. Just continuing to capitalize on their bad touches too.
Here's Corcione in the box after a turnover with the left foot, and there's a second goal for CSU. Corcione picks up the turnover, beats the defender, and puts one into the center of the net.
What I say about those bad touches, Steven? Capitalizing on those bad touches.
Right on cue.
Perfect.
Corcione off the turnover, puts one into the net. It's a 2-1 lead. Now for the Lady Cougars. Now, though, is a moment where Jay Entlick told us last night he calls his Big Five, that 5-minute stretch where you just give up, or you get one, and then you have a tendency to kind of lax off and you give up one.
Yes, sir, Steven. For 4 years that I played for Coach Jay Entlick, the Big Five was a phrase that he said a lot. Whenever the Big Five moments, I don't know if he described them.
And they're going to get another one off of it. Corcione wins away another battle, and it's Kelsey Pelletier on the receiving end that finishes one off. So how about that for a Big Five moment?
Like I was about to say, a Big Five moment is the first 5 minutes after a goal is scored, after we score or they score. First 5 minutes, start of the game, last 5 minutes of the first half, first 5 of the second half, and last 5 of the second half. You do not want to get scored on in those first 5 minutes of all those times that I had said, because that's a lack of focus, and championships are won, I think, in the first 5 and last 5 of every half and after every goal is being scored. So definitely some focus we had there to pop in another one, so we're not going to not as much pressure, I think, on the girls. I know obviously they're going to keep going and keep trucking through the game and try to get another one, but I prefer a 3-1 lead over a 2-1 lead any day.
3-1 where it stands now. Back-to-back CSU goals very quickly here in a short span. Here at Sheffield Academy, Nicole Corcione getting one and then helping share on one as she picked up the assist on the goal by Pelletier, which means that it's the forwards for CSU that have gotten it done for them. Their 3 usual starting forwards, each netting one so far in this ball game to give them a 3-1 advantage. Calder stinging one forward, and Janowitz well offside that time.
She loves
that was about
20 yards offside.
Yeah. That one maybe wasn't quite just the center back stepping up. That was just getting a little lost on the field.
Come on, Janowitz.
But you like the aggressiveness. She
Yes.
was ready to go.
Yes.
She was ready to turn
Hey, if you're
and
not
fly.
cheating, you're not trying, right?
This is Janowitz with it now, trying to play it forward. Pelletier in a sprint after this one. Bryant was the first one to the ball, though. CSU winning a lot of the races at the moment to the 50-50 balls. As a foul coming up from behind as Sauer won the race to that one. The foul goes against Chloe Jones there inside the center circle, and CSU going to go with a little bit of a quick hit towards the net that time, and it's headed over the end, so they change it up there, go after the English style, and they're going to earn a corner kick out of it.
I like the attempt, and it's worked well for us, catching them off guard, and we're playing at our rhythm and making them adjust. So that's awesome. I'm very proud of the girls right now and the coaching staff down there with Kyle Stewart acting as head coach. He's doing a great job, and Coach Rade Tanaskovic, assistant coach for the day, is doing a great job getting these girls up, and the rhythm definitely changed momentum in our favor.
After the corner, it's headed out of the box. Calder will come up from her defensive back spot and keep it in play and keep it in CSU's possession. Endow there on the end line, fighting with Janowitz for it. And they're going to say it was Janowitz that touched it last, and so a goal kick coming up for the Aston Villa side that all of a sudden has to scramble a little bit because you find yourself down 2 goals with about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so to go in this ball game. Now there's a lot of scrambling that has to be done by the Villa ladies.
Tempers get higher, too, I believe. Every time a foul is committed, they definitely tempers get higher, and getting the referee's attention gets a little more dramatic, I think, when a team is down.
Well, we talked about it last night on the air also. You have these English sides, then they don't want the Americans to come over and beat them at their game, and they're on their turf. And that's one of the things you saw last night with Portsmouth. They fell behind, and all of a sudden it seemed to spark something inside of them, and they came back with a fury.
They called us the Yanks, and they did not want any Yanks beating them last night, that's for sure.
Of course, it's all in good spirit.
Of course.
Once everything is all done, as Robinson tries to cross one, that will end up in a corner off a deflection. The two sides last night after the game getting a chance to share some food and some laughs, some dance moves shared between the two sides as well. It was rather interesting. Happening for about an hour after the game. The two sides, though, getting a chance to interact. And it'll be like that when this one's over with. These two will get a chance to talk after the game as the corner is headed away for a goal kick coming up after Aston Villa, the last one to touch it. And that's the cool part about this trip, and you talked about it last night. It's the bonds and the sharing that you get to do with some of these players that play the same thing just in a completely different country.
Yep. It's love of football, or they call it football, love of soccer in the States is same anywhere else. Obviously, it's a lot bigger over here. This is their main sport, their most popular sport over here. Ours, female soccer, is not huge in the United States as big as we think it should be. But these girls love it, and they're both aspiring soccer players that just want to play the game as long as they possibly can, and it's just so cool seeing, hearing their accents, they hearing ours, thinking we have weird accents, we think they have weird accents, and just the dance moves and just the friendships that you make over here are huge. You never know when you might run into one of them again, and so it's just really cool to have those friendships. I made them 4 years ago. And I still have them to this day, and I'm just so happy that these girls have the same opportunity that I had 4 years ago.
It's a special part of this Columbus State program. Once every 4 years they do it, but they can't do it without a little help from a lot of the people in the city of Columbus. You look across the jerseys that CSU is wearing, the Navy jerseys they have tonight. They say Kinetic Credit Union on them. Last night they had TSYS written across the front because those are two of the companies that have made this trip possible, as that one's over the sideline, and it'll be back in the hands of the ladies from Villa. But those are the people that have helped make this trip possible, because it was not cheap for these ladies each to come over here, and they've had a lot of help from a lot of the companies locally in Columbus making this trip possible, as the offsides flag up for another time against CSU.
We've caught them scrambling, Stephen. They remember when they take their free kicks, they don't like to play balls over the top and just just hammer them in for them to try to win in the air. They like to play quick and to their feet, and that time they didn't have any other options but to play over the top, and the result, we won the ball.
CSU with a 3-1 edge, 3 second-half goals for the Lady Cougars, 1 for Aston Villa here as CSU looks for its first win in the 2 matches they've had, trying to improve to 1-0-1 here in this English tour. Offsides flag coming up again as that one was rather close, but Pelletier and Janowitz both there at the edge of the line. Working here midway or so, latter portion of the second half, 3-1. Columbus State on top of the Aston Villa Football Club as a couple of players collide again there. And it's the Aston Villa player who looks again to have received the worst end of things. A little bit slow getting up, but the training staff has come out to check on her. As we get a chance to take a break for a moment, we'll run through some of these people that made this trip possible. We talked about TSYS and Kinetic Credit Union. Of course, BMW, who's written on the side of the jackets that some of the Lady Cougars are sporting while they're here. Country's Barbecue, along with Buffalo Wild Wings, Paragon Insurance, Moe's Southwest Grill, Eurosport, Dr. Tim Mescon, the CSU president, helping personally make this trip possible for these ladies and seeing them off on Wednesday a week ago today when they had their team meeting out there at the Walden Soccer Complex. Of course, Aramark Food Services has helped out along with the Tony Link Foundation, and the Center for International Education has been very, very helpful, provided a lot of scholarship money for all of these girls that was crucial in helping them get over here to this point. And, of course, a big thanks to Mr. Spencer, who the Spencer House in Oxford, England, where the ladies are staying, is named after, a piece of land and a property that he provided the money for Columbus State University to allow students to come study abroad. And every 4 years, they will house the Lady Cougars there in Oxford, and really a great setup for the ladies. Yes, it's tight quarters, but it's an opportunity for them to really get a chance to spend some quality time in a place where the majority of them have never been before and create that lifetime experience that they'll think back on, 40, 50 years from now.
I think the tight quarters in the house are pretty cool. Definitely bonding experience, and you become really tight with your teammates. And I wouldn't have traded, my own room, my own bed for the three people that I shared a twin bed with 4 years ago. I loved it, every minute of it, and these girls are really enjoying it, I think.
Kara Barber, who is subbed on, takes the shot at the net that time. It's scooped up by Courtney, the goalkeeper. Tori Hood also out on the field subbing in as CSU has its reserve forwards out there at the moment. Pelletier, Pearson, and Corcione all off the field. The last two checking off after the last goal. So Tori Hood, Kara Barber, and Mandy Janowitz, the one playing up on the front line. The back line is stuck with the same 5 all night long, as a foul goes against CSU, opening up an opportunity here. That one hit into the center and headed towards the net and just out wide off to the left. Parsons fully extended to go after it, but the shot was just a little bit wide off the head of Carly Davies. Brittany McNair will come on and sub in for the first time on the evening. Shelby Rowling will get to take the rest of the night off. 3-1 the score, and a chance for CSU to try to get everybody else that hasn't played so far in this one into the ball game. Goals by all 3 of the forwards. Chelsea Pearson, along with Corcione and Pelletier, have made this 3-1 as CSU again called for being offsides. That one, though, just by a matter of inches. Offsides in that spot. As we're going to get a stoppage of play coming up. And a sub coming on for Aston Villa. Maddie Cusick will come off. Olivia Ferguson, who didn't start the second half here for the ladies of Aston Villa, will head back out there and get some run late in this ball game. McNair taken down from behind, a couple of hands on the shoulders that time. On the part of Merrick, who owns the only Aston Villa goal of the game. The foul called on the Aston Villa ladies, and now CSU will make a change in goal. Malin Parsons allowing just the one tonight, so she's allowing just one goal in nearly a game and a half of action so far. So the freshman, it's hard to call her that after how much experience she got in the fall, but still a freshman at Columbus State coming off the field, and it's Emily Leslie that gets a chance to get in goal for CSU. Leslie, a transfer. Didn't see action in the fall, but getting a chance here in the spring to get there into the net. Wilby forward, Barber tracking it, as was Tori Hood, the two of them crossing over the same paths. Again, it's fast and furious now for Aston Villa the rest of the way, trailing by 2 goals late in the second half. That pass well too hard from Follis out in front of Bryant that time, so it'll come up for a throw, and Aston Villa, of course, will keep the pressure on. They're going to continue to move more and more up that field because they've got to find a way to make up 2 goals here in a matter of just a few minutes. Davies being defended by Blakely Heidemann. Able to split the middle there with the pass, but Heidemann coming over to help out from behind. And CSU just making it tough now as they just about had a free run with it there. A nice job by Vaughn to deflect that one away. Otherwise, it would have been Carol Barber off to the races.
The defense is doing a really good job, I think, containing their front runners and their forwards and attacking mids, and we're doing a really good job making sure we keep the ball forward and we're now in game management status, I believe. We got to hold our lead, so got to be very smart with all the decisions we make from here on out.
CSU earning a corner there off a mishandled ball by the Aston Villa side, so they'll get a corner as Taylor Marks will come to the near side and get a chance to swing it in. It's been a good night so far for Columbus State. Now they have just a matter of minutes to try to finish this one off to pick up the victory over one of the English sides out of the Super League 2. Marks from the near side hits this one into the center of the box. Gets through several people there. And a goal kick coming up. Seemed like that one, though, had an opportunity for someone to get on the receiving end of. Just no one there able to step up and put anything on it towards the net. Tori Hood attacking at the defender, Vaughn, able to get rid of it. And Aston Villa does great work with the ball on the ground. Not a whole lot in the air. The ball stays on the ground as Casey Davis will hit that one out over the side and allow Aston Villa to have a throw. And again, very, very quickly with it. A mishandled touch and a throw coming up that'll belong to Columbus State right in front of the Villa bench, and a sub coming on the part of Columbus State. Nikki Turnbull will come in up top for CSU as Mandy Janowitz will trot off to the sideline. And that was one of the things that was cool to see last night was Nikki, after 8 months out with the ACL tear, getting out there rather quickly, but as you see with a lot of players, she didn't look very hesitant going after anything last night.
She went full force. She definitely missed that soccer ball.
And now it's Turnbull that's on the sprint to go get this one. Indow wins the race to it, though, able to keep her away from it. It's difficult, though, because it becomes a mindset. It gets something that gets wrapped up in your head that you don't want to go through what you just spent the last 8, 9, 12 months rehabbing and going through. So you hesitate sometimes in playing just your normal way.
Yeah, we're very proud of her. She jumps into practice full force, and she just misses this game so much. That was her second ACL tear, and so I feel like she knew what she had to do, and she came back even stronger, and she's got to get that speed under her, and maybe that WD-40 Coach Jay was talking about last night on that brace to help her get through these last couple minutes.
The offsides flag coming up again. You take your pick of who was offsides that time. There's a couple of them.
That's our favorite call, I believe. I think offsides is our favorite call.
Hey, they've been attacking tonight, though, and they picked up 3 goals out of it, though. So I think at the end of the night, they'll gladly accept the result of how this one's gone.
The aggression, for sure.
Look at the goalkeeper, Courtney, all the way out here near midfield to take this free kick. Shows you how much forward Aston Villa was trying to play everything at the moment. Heidemann able to clear that one away. A foul coming up, called by the side referee. On the line, CSU trying to finish this one off. A 3-1 edge. This was 0-0 at halftime. As we hit right around 5 minutes to go. And CSU, barring a collapse defensively, should be able to pick up a good result here. You know Aston Villa, though, isn't going to go away quietly. This is Ferguson with it, off to Fallis, into the center. CSU with its back line all back there. 5 players defensively playing inside the 18. Heidemann takes it off the foot of Fallis trying to drive in, then bangs it off of Ferguson, and a goal kick coming up. At this point, with 5 minutes left and a 2-goal lead, it comes more now about playing just defense, and you let offense just kind of go away.
Definitely defense wins championships, and at the end of the day, defense wins these kind of games where you're fighting to the end to hold your lead, and Aston Villa is doing everything they possibly can to get the ball forward and play as quick as they possibly can, and they're doing a really good job of it, but you know, our back line is pretty darn strong, and I'll take them over I'll take my back four, CSU's back four over Aston Villa's front 3 any day.
Barber with the touch, deflected, and it goes off of Bryant, off of her foot. So CSU will continue to let that clock just tick and tick and tick some more as they try to count it down to a victory here in match number 2 of this English tour. Hood trying to cross it, has it deflected, and Vaughn will just hit it out over the sideline to keep CSU from getting a corner opportunity, but the clock will continue to roll. Heidemann will get ready to rather give it off, and Tori Hood will be the one that will toss it in as CSU holds on to a 3-1 lead at the moment. Wilby flicks one into the center. Endow fighting with Turnbull and able to shield off the Lady Cougar there in time for Courtney to pick it up. Now the chance for the counterattack, though. Flicked on by the head of Davies. They play it back to Fallis, about 25 yards out, chipped into the center, and Casey Davis able to clear it from out in front of Ferguson inside the 18. CSU not only in this second half has had good opportunities, as here's another chance for them, but Tori Hood couldn't get to it quick enough. They've had a lot of offensive opportunities, but the defense has also stepped up. They allowed the 1 goal, but the chances have been few and far between for Aston Villa here in the second 45 minutes of this match, and it's turned into a good run for CSU. The adjustments were made that needed to be at the half, and it looks like it'll turn out well as Kara Barber is just going to shield and let some clock run over there in that corner. Tori Hood now driving inside the box, trying to center it up, but there's nobody there on that side of the net to help finish it. A good look, just nobody home. McNair will help get it back across midfield, but Vaughn now up from her center back position to drive it forward. Fallis on the right side, nobody on the defensive side of midfield for Aston Villa at the moment as they play all 10 field players up on the offensive end. Wilby now trying to get a run at it. Jones will tackle it out of bounds out in front of Shea. But again, you can tell CSU is the bunch that's a little fresher now because these players, they didn't play the first half, so they have fresh legs for CSU up front. Hood winning the battle to the 50-50 ball. Turnbull able to step in. Again, it's fun to watch how quickly she's getting back acclimated out there. It doesn't look like she's been away for 8 months from soccer. Calder tackled. I'm going to say Becca was the last one to touch it. No time to rest, though. If you go down, you got to get up and sprint to the other end because Aston Villa is about to do the same thing. 3-1 here on Cougar Sports TV. The Lady Cougars looking to be on their way to a victory in match number 2 here on this English trip for them. And that whistle right there will signify a 3-1 victory in favor of the Lady Cougars as they take down the Aston Villa Football Club here in Walsall, England on this Wednesday night. And it seemed like really in the second half they made some adjustments, and as you said, the intensity seemed better offensively, and that turned into a really good offensive half.
It did, and seeing that ball go in the back of our net and finding our rhythm definitely was huge for us. That definitely was a great game, and Aston Villa played brilliant. We played brilliant, but at the end of the day, like I said before, I think our athleticism and our chemistry on the field, and just us being so pumped being over here and wanting to come over here and not just play these girls but beat these teams was definitely the defining factor at the end of the day.
So 3-1 the score. It was 0-0 at half. Chelsea Pearson netted one to put the Lady Cougars in front. It was evened up by a goal by Beth Merrick, and from there CSU's forwards took over. Nicole Corcione getting one, Kelsey Pelletier getting one off a pass from Corcione, and 3-1 your final here in game number 2. They will have a couple of days to be tourists around the city of London and other places in England, and then they will hit the pitch again on Sunday in Millwall. They'll take on the Millwall Lionesses in the third and final match of this English tour for them. So, partner, your first experience with this, it was fun.
So much fun. I really appreciate you having me up here. Definitely colder up here, but so worth it. And the view of the field was beautiful, and just you're really good at your job, Stephen, and you know, keeping everybody comfortable in interviews, and we did a really good job today. The girls did great, coaching staff, head coach Kyle Stewart, assistant coach Rada Tanaskovic, Jay Entlick on the sidelines with them, and Coach Haley Brown, our athletic trainer, did a great job keeping these girls' legs prepared and taped up and iced up and ready to go for today. So.
And with that, we will sign off here on this Wednesday evening from Walsall, England. For everyone at Cougar Sports TV and Columbus State University and the Columbus State Athletic Department, for my partner Mary Manson and everyone else that helped us here on the broadcast tonight, Stephen Williams saying so long from Walsall, England.